Check, check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Shit. Sorry, can you guys hear me? And my mic muted. Alright, cool. We can get into it. So, alright, gonna get through our pre-market prep here, Gamma Edge, right? If you're not familiar with Gamma Edge, we utilize the options market to understand positioning in the market, sentiment in the market, structure of the market. You don't have to trade options to use this stuff, but you should understand that, right? Options are a critical part of today's modern market structure. So that's why we focus specifically on the SPX to kind of get a representation of the general market landscape. The reason for SPX is because it's massive market, tons of liquidity, tons of action going on in that specific options market. But before getting to that, just looking at our market trend model. Again, this is built off the tick index. If you don't know what the tick index is, feel free to just Wikipedia, a couple of nice articles there. But it's just crudely a measurement of buying and selling through the exchanges. A couple different elements here, right? So this is the filter tick that measures significant buying and selling on an intraday basis. We have the cumulative tick here, which is the bolded white line. This is kind of your intraday. Again, buying or selling, there's no filter going on here, so this is more of raw data. So when buying and selling comes in, it doesn't take into account the size of it. Then we have our short-term railroad tracks here, then we have our longer-term ribbon here. So what this is all telling us is, right, bullish day yesterday via the cumulative tick, filter tick had a little bit of buying. Short-term 1 to 3 day momentum is trending higher. Longer-term 1 to 3 weeks is trending higher as well. So everything right now looks good. However, keep in mind, the short-term, cumulative tick, short-term could easily flip today like it did a couple days ago. So just be cognizant of that. And especially, if you're trading based off of, the direction of the cumulative tick, filtered tick, that's more of a button seat trade. So you need to be, kind of keenly focused on that if you're using that as a key signal intraday. By the way, if you guys have any questions as we are going through stuff, just feel free to pop them in the chat. Sorry about that. Okay, getting our pre-market prep now, right? In the Discord, we have a robust SPX game plan write-up. We go through the SPX A complex, SPX P complex, full complex, and 0DT. Right, if you're not familiar with the difference between SPX A, SPX P, I'll quickly go through it, right? But we have blogs on our website, which I'll point to at the end. You guys can go read that as well. Point of this isn't really to educate you guys, but to walk through our process. So SPX A, that's the cruise ship, right? 15, 16 million contracts open right there. Think of this as your longer term institutional money, slower moving, as opposed to the SPX P, which is more of your cruise ship or your speedboat. That's kind of where the short term traders are interacting. But just looking at this, right? See a ton of green, that's good. Call dominated above the spot price. Key level for the bulls is 46.50, top of our transition zone. So we want to be above that spot price. So let's just look where we're opening up. So we're opening up right at 64.50. So getting back to it, sorry, there's construction going on at the house today. Looking at true zeros, these are trending higher. That is good to see, right? True zero is just kind of a representation of delta and call. Sorry, not delta. Delta and gamma, that's what these lines represent. Price invariant. All right, GEX ratio, right? Cumulative call gamma relative to cumulative put gamma. Think of this as like a put call ratio, but it incorporates time through the use of gamma. So we view this as a bit more superior to just your traditional put call ratio. So it's above 1, which means calls are in control, right? And then it's starting to trend higher. Granted, this is a 1-day trend. But right, just need to see this a little continuation higher right after we had the large gap down. We had 2 nice moves higher though intraday, Tuesday and Wednesday. This is our delta balance tool, right? The unique thing about the options market is it is inherently forward looking through the use of expirations out in time, right? So we can understand how folks are positioning out in time. So right, everything here just looks bullish. Everything is above 0, so that means calls are dominated above the spot price, which is what the right hand, left hand plane represent, and then kind of the net reading, which is the blue line, is pinned at 1. This is an oscillator between -1 and 1. So everything looks good there. And before we get going any further, right, I know I'm going through fast. I know I'm hitting a lot of tools, but if you go to GameEdge.us, free courses, everything is explained in this. This is our flagship education course, right? Free new members, paid members. This is what they go through as well. It teaches all the tools, all the methodologies, strategies, all that good stuff. So if you feel lost, no worries. We lay it all out for you here. Or if you just want to read the individual blog articles, which more or less make up the GameEdge Fast Pass, we have all those laid out here. We've done like 20, 22 this year. So be sure to give that a read. Looking at the SPX P complex, right? So this is only 4 million contracts open as opposed to the 16 million. So things to know, right? You can see there's a bit more red below spot price. So that means out of the money puts are dominant relative to in the money calls, which in a normal kind of bullish regime, bullish market, this is green as well, which means calls are dominant above and below spot price. So this is kind of a little bit of a caution. We want to see this clear up. We want to see this starting to turn green again. Because right, it's our opinion that markets are driven by out of the money call and put speculation. So we have out of the money calls above, out of the money puts below. So kind of, like opposing forces, so to speak. So just a little bit of caution there. 46, we're kind of right in the middle of the transition zone right here, right? So keep in mind, the key level on the SPX A complex is 64.50, pretty good level in this complex as well. And obviously we have the iron condor structure we'll get into today that's influenced a little bit of stuff. Looking at the true zeros here, notice, remember SPX A, they were all trending higher. Here they're flat to side, they're flat to lower, so a little bit of a shift. And right, and when we see turns in the market, it first propagates through the SPX P, then the SPX A, just because of the nature of the traders that are in both. SPX play is generally slower. SPX P can change their positioning a lot faster, hence why we call it a speedboat. So just not exactly actionable, right, but just kind of developing your market awareness, just understanding just a little bit of a divergence in signals that we are seeing there. Same thing with the delta balance chart, right? You see this just looks a lot messier, out in time, looking at future expiration positions. So, puts are, more, or I guess, the call strength is less so dominant out in time. So again, just something to be cognizant of. We focus on the shape changes day over day. So, is this shape consistent with what we see tomorrow, perhaps, right? The bulls, we want to see this blue line come up higher. And then right, if you're bearish, you want to see this, structure continue to deteriorate. So again, it's more just about developing your situational awareness, just understanding the changes in positioning, right? Then finally we get to SPX. Sorry, I'm just reading these notes as well. Right, you guys in Discord, you guys should be reading this every single day as well. Yeah, exactly. So, so we're again, I was just reading this last note, right? You know, it's just about the turn. That's what I was discussing earlier, right? You're seeing the turn, the deterioration in SPX EP, then should propagate in SPX A. We're not saying that's going to happen. All we were saying right now is just understanding that the SPX P structure was not as bullish as it was. So then looking at 0DT structure real quick. I'm just pulling up this one, right? So we have the iron condor structure clearly denoted with the teal boxes. That's 40, 64.80, 64.75, down to 64.15, 64.10. So those are kind of your, think of those as like key kind of boundaries, goalposts for the day. We're opening right at 64.50, which is right in the drunken sailor range, kind of our zone of meandering, where exactly what it sounds like. Price tends to chop around within that zone. First goalpost there is 64.65, so that's kind of the key first upside level that we want to get through, right? We think of it in terms of a gradient. So based off the distribution of speculation, right, we're from here to 64.65, we're pushing like a boulder up a hill, right? Because this is all negative charm with those out of the money calls dominating those strikes above us. So we're having to push via, you know, intraday speculation, intraday buying, coming in the market. And the way we look for that is through the market trend model, right? Cumulative tick, filter tick, we want to see significant buying. And then also through our volume analysis, just looking at, you know, here's just an end of the day snapshot from yesterday, post-market recap videos. You can watch that, kind of better understand what this is, or go, you know, on our website, what I just showed you, learn more about that. Right, but this is just understanding sentiment of SPX 0DT, call and put speculators throughout the session. So right, call buying, we want to see this continue to expand higher yesterday, right? Yesterday was very choppy. Today we want, if you want to see that move higher, we need to see you know, buying come in, and then vice versa to the downside. So where were you? So yeah, right. These are the key pillars, so to speak, for the day session. Easily could be pinned within. We get that fairly frequently when they have the structure, unless we see significant buying coming in that can overwhelm this positioning. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Then above, right, 64.80, looking at 6,500. Again, just key kind of psychological number, decent positioning there. And then we have a big glob at 65.05, 65.10, which would likely cap us today, absent, you know, like massive, maybe like a news event driving significant selling, right? And then to the downside, 64.15, 64.10, that's key downside pillar. And then, yeah, right, the 64.50, again, that's just kind of a key level, kind of natural transition. If all of this stuff, right, was removed, just kind of looking where the structure transitions at, would just be kind of right in this range as well. So that's going to be important as well. So yeah, I know that's kind of a lot of levels, but, you know, SPX P0DT can be complex. So rather be more prepared less prepared. And then right in the Discord, we have a bunch of, you know, named levels that we just went through, a few more, and we have if-then statements of, you know, when to go long, when to go short, all that good stuff. So feel free to give that a read. I'm not going to go through every single one. We got some other stuff to get through and the market's opening, but just want to make you guys aware that that's that. So done with SPX spiel. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If not, we'll move to kind of individual equities, seeing what we're looking at there. Yeah, my cat kept pawing at the door, so it was quite distracting. All right, no questions. Let's keep it moving then. If questions pop up too, not a big deal. Okay, so getting into our swing trading plan, right? It first starts right with the market trend model, understanding what the kind of short-term, long-term momentum is, right? So, you know, yesterday, prior day, wasn't super exciting just because the short-term trend was moving lower, but yesterday was a nice trend flip, so a bit more interested. Thing to note too, though, is, you know, our P Transit plus GEX strategy. Well, yeah, we're getting through the swings to play right now. I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, we're going through that right now. Oh, yeah. So swing trading kind of predicates on, right, if our P Transit plus GEX strategy is on or not, which is our 100% mechanical strategy. Again, we have a blog article on that right here. let me get down to it real quick. Yeah, so every night, right? You guys know what the signals will be the night before the open of the next day. So right, Tesla popped on the scan today. We'll be getting into that position. We'll be exiting Google, Berkshire, Bank of America. Reason that we're exiting is because it's reached our profit target level. Just a quick snapshot of performance, right? We've been running this live since July of 2023, so over 2 years now. That's crazy. Time flies. But we're back testing back through 2013, right? And these results mirror those back testing, which has significantly outperformed the SPX. It's a high win rate strategy. So yes, losers are more than winners. That's fine. But again, we win about 3/4 of the time, and then positive expectancy there. So you can see what our open positions were. It doesn't look like we have any positions that will be closed today, just given what's in the portfolio. But and then we'll be exiting or entering Tesla. But that's just the 100% mechanical strategy. You can still apply discretion to this too if you want. Just obviously know you're not going to replicate the back testing results if you do that. But then what we do too is I produce a bull and a bear list every day, which is something that I do using just our data. But we also have canned scans, right? So we have like call dominated scans where just looking at call dominated stocks, a good spot to start. Then we have some scans around key levels and stuff like that. But just going through the stocks I had today. So right, like the bull list. So Tesla's the #1 name on it. It's above transition zone, good to see. So encouraging. And then to the extent you guys want to add your own technical analysis flair, cool. Like I just have some basic simple moving averages on there just because the market tends to respect those. So I just want to be cognizant of that. And that's really the extent of the TA that I really do on it. And then right just above P-trans, we want to see the P-trans level hold, continue to progress higher. And this bullish just means it's call dominated. It's above the 21 EMA, so that's how I get the list. Then it has to have a market cap above 100 billion, just because I want to be in liquid names that aren't gonna disintegrate 25% overnight like a meme stock or something would. So you got Tesla, and just positions I'm in right now. So I'm in Citi. So it's holding. Let's put on that. It's in a market. So it's holding P-trans, that's good, right? Above all that stuff, like trending higher, good to see. I am in Palo Alto Network. This name's not on the script, but we can look at it in a minute. I'm in Disney, which keeps selling off, so potentially get out of that name today. It's just not working out. United Healthcare, and then Tesla. So I'm in Tesla. So yeah, then just rifling through these names, like that's all we do. Looking to see Intel. It's kind of interesting here, right? It's above the. Moving out and see if it can break through prior day high, right? Because what is moving higher should continue to move higher. It's gonna be above the P-trans level. All that's good to see. And then right, does easy stop. Easy stop could be below P-trans, below 0 gex, could be below prior day low, all that stuff. So just keep it simple. This is really just a way to help you guys find quality names, right? Quality names, if you're bullish, are names that are call dominated. So something to keep in mind. That's the reason that we go through this. Apple, Amazon. That hurts. I got stopped out of Amazon when I had this big down move, but it's recovering nicely. So is what it is there. Google, Bank of America, Meta. I'm not super interested in Meta here. It's from TA. I mean, it's still moving lower. Nice pop though. It's up at plus gex already for the day as well. So kind of natural profit taking level. AVGO has earnings though. United Healthcare is still on the list. Chinese name, not interested. Citibank already in that. MU doesn't look awful here. See if we can get above prior day high, which is roughly P-trans. Maybe there's a trade there. Goog, been through that. Baba, not interested. Wells Fargo. So yeah, you guys get the idea. So that's what that looks like. And if there's any single names you guys want to go through, let me know. We can pop through those. Yeah, Lily, like that's a consolidating within here, plenty of room to move higher, easy stop at below the P trans level. So that's a name I'll be watching. Visa doesn't look awful here. P trans is pretty far down there. But yeah, like natural, kind of where that higher low is made right there. So yeah, you guys get the idea of it, right? So, right, just rifle through these names. Yeah, then we have the bearish is right. So these are names you kind of want to stay away from, or if you're into shorting names, potentially short, but keep in mind the overall market structure. So Palantir, TSM, Nike, Verizon, Oracle, ARM. I think they have earnings. They had earnings yesterday. It looks like it didn't go very well. They're down 6% in the pre-market. Starbucks continues to be on there. So yeah, just for me, I use this kind of like a no-touch list. But so looking at Circle, right? And just another thing too, guys, is like this is all in our web app as well. Let's give that a second to load. So someone said like Circle. Yeah, so Circle looks like garbage here, right? That's put dominated structure, a lot of red. Not super interested in that name. So we have that. Sorry, what was the other name? Yeah, I mean this is just looks like garbage. I would not be interested in Circle here. MSTR. Another name looks like garbage. Go look at that in the web app. Yeah, I mean that's not great. In the middle of transition, looks like it's gonna break through transition, so don't love it. Lulu. I'm an all cotton guy, so clearly I don't like Lulu for starters, but I mean this looks like garbage as well. I mean downtrend. Let's look at the structure. I mean predominantly put dominated, so don't love the name either here. 0 for 3, sorry. Yeah, TT, so we had an article actually 2 weeks ago we put on our newsletter about picking strikes. You can either go, right, you can long call at plus Gex, which gives you the most convexity. You can do a call spread, right? You can do an at the money call, like I put credit spreads below the names too. You can do that as well, so you don't necessarily just have to get long an option or long the stock. You can sell premium below if you kind of think where we're not gonna go. KGB, yeah, we can look at 0DT again. I mean, it just looks like this, right? It's also in the Discord too. I'll post it on Twitter after this as well, but Iron Condor structure, very clear with the teal. Then we have our drunken sailor range as well. Top of that's 40, 64, 65. So yeah, with that, we can wrap it there. The market's about to open. I've talked for a while now. Again, Game Edge free courses. Feel free to give this a go if you're new to this, if it sounds interesting to you. And I appreciate the time. We'll see you all in the Discord. I mean, our X handle is Gamma Edges. Here, I'll reply to you what it is. Well, I guess I can't, but it's gamma edges. So, yeah. All right. Appreciate the time, guys. We will talk to you either in the Discord or talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.